Yo, what's good, boys? It's your boy RTP, and back again with another video today. Hey, if you watched the video last week where I talked about where our mock draft landed and how I would invest in these players if I was a card buyer, card seller, card flipper, dipper, ripper, all that, then you're going to love this video because last week I went off of mock draft. This week we had the real NBA draft, which was so good. Honestly, as a draft itself, it was so fire. And as you can see, we're on ESPN here. The ESPN presentation now, on the other hand, might have been a different story, a little too much commercials, like a 3-hour and 30-minute broadcast for one round, bro. It used to be 4 hours for 2 rounds. So that's a little OD for me, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about the card market and how I would flip these guys. And the first guy on the list is Cooper Flagg, obviously. For Cooper Flagg, I said this last week, and I'll say it again. We actually predicted Cooper Flagg would go #1 to the Mavericks. So if you know ball, subscribe because we see the future over here. Nah, I'm playing. But Cooper Flagg, obviously, if you have the money, invest in Cooper Flagg. He's going to be a monster. He's going to be on a championship contender more than likely. Maybe not this year, but by the next 2 or 3 years, I could definitely see the Mavericks competing, really competing for a title against teams like OKC, Houston, Boston, Cleveland. I mean, Boston's kind of out of it now. They blew it up. But I think Cooper Flagg is a safe invest. Yeah, I mean, he's a talented player, obviously. Dylan Harper, #2. This is another one that we saw coming here, and I would say probably invest in Dylan Harper. If he could figure out the jump shot, I mean, the NBA is built around these big guard lineups now, bro. You look at Shea, if you look at Luka. Dylan Harper's a 6'6" guard who's more athletic than all of them. He's a downhill weapon for sure. He just can't really shoot. He could play make, though, but can't really shoot. So if he develops that jump shot, then we're going to have a monster here with Dylan Harper, okay? Dylan Harper really could just go at your neck and score. To me, the better player coming out of Rutgers. Yeah, that's really all I had to say for Dylan Harper. I think the only problem now is Fox. I think they should move on from Fox. You have Dylan Harper. You have Stephon Castle. I think out of those three, one of them has to get moved. Fox might be the easiest to get your value back for, just because we don't know Castle or Harper's value just yet completely. Fox, we kind of know what kind of NBA player he is. So, yeah. Now we get different, okay? So if you watched my video last week, now we're going to start talking a little differently, and we have VJ Edgecombe here. Now, I believe in our mock draft, we had VJ Edgecombe going to Charlotte at #4. Philly, I don't know what it is. And maybe it's because he was picked at #3, which I didn't see coming. There's good vibes with VJ, bro, and I liked VJ as a prospect a lot. Now, I don't know how much of a ceiling he has, but, bro, I really don't, I could see it now. I could see the vision, the ball handling, the explosiveness, the defense, ability to get to the basket and finish. It's just really the jump shot, and once that develops, similar to Dylan Harper, bro, this kid is going to be a monster. So, early on in the college basketball season, right, I want to say we filmed a video in October where we were talking about, or I just seen a highlight of him dunking, and I was like, man, that Baylor center really threw it down. He was flying. And Phil goes, center? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's a center, right? No, he's not a center, bro. He just looks like one, bro. He's built. He's only 6'4", but he's this is a guy you want to watch. And I'm hoping that his ceiling hits. And low-key, as far as draft-wise goes, if Philadelphia wants to move Paul George and Embiid, they can now, because VJ Edgecombe, I know he's listed as a guard here, but he definitely can be a small forward and play next to Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey and Quentin Grimes, whatever of that core they want to go with. And if they want to flip Embiid and Paul George for maybe a young big man with potential or really anything and just kind of get ready for the draft next season, I don't be surprised if they trade Joel Embiid this offseason, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Don't be surprised. Play this clip back. Now, Con Knuppel, right, and not every draft pick's going to be a hit. Con Knuppel's going to be a consistent NBA player. As long as he wants to play, he will play. He could have a 15-year career. He's the best shooter in the draft. He's a good playmaker. He's just a very safe guy. Now, ESPN has him listed as 6'5". I believe at the Combine he was 6'7". So being that big, able to shoot, going to play next to LaMelo, who's one of the best playmakers in basketball, whether you like him or not. That's really what it is. I think Con's going to have a good season, man. But I don't know if I would invest in him as far as a sports card goes, right? Because the ceiling's just not there. He might be an 18-point-per-game scorer at his best. Think Rip Hamilton. right? I think that's what I would give him, like a modern day Rip Hamilton. You're not really going to invest in a guy like that, but you definitely would want a guy like that on your team, right? So I think Khan is going to have that Rip Hamilton type of career where as long as he wants to play, he's going to play. He's going to be able to knock down shots. He's going to have a good season. He won't be a Rookie of the Year type of guy. He won't be an MVP type of guy. He won't be an All-NBA type of guy. But every team's going to want Khan Knappel. I could also, like, if I'm giving a more recent comparison, maybe Corey Kispert's value coming out of the draft, where we all knew he was a knockdown shooter, but you probably wouldn't buy Corey Kispert stock. At number 5, this got very interesting, right? Ace Bailey was a guy that I thought was a shoo-in to land in Philadelphia up until the draft day, and then everything got a little weird with his agency with Sharif Cooper's dad and all that. He falls to number 5. Utah still takes him. Now, there's questions about if he's going to play or not for this team, right? But I think that Ace Bailey's going to end up playing for this team. I mean, I think all the camp stuff seems like agent stuff. It doesn't seem like it's coming from Ace. I think Ace Bailey just wants to hoop. And I think a team like Utah, you know, they drafted Walter Clayton, so I could see them trading away some of their veterans. But a team like Utah, where they have Colin Sexton, they have Jordan Clarkson, they have Laurie, they have John Collins, who all have veteran presences, will do wonders for this guy's shot creating. You know, like, as far as Philadelphia goes, like, I don't know if he's getting that from Paul George and Embiid, who are better players, obviously. But I think Ace Bailey's in a different position. And I think if you have the money and you like the tape, I would invest, because I think he's a high-risk, high-reward prospect. Either he's going to be a monster or he's going to be mediocre, and it's going to be a what-if Ace Bailey panned out in the NBA type of story. But, man, maybe I'm overthinking this prospect, and, you know, there was talks about him being the number 1 pick early on in the college season, so I don't think you could really sell out on Ace Bailey. But I don't know if I'd invest either. He's kind of an interesting prospect. The whole height thing, he was supposed to be the 6'10" shot creator. Everyone's calling him KD. And then he goes to the combine and he's 6'7". So that's a little suspect. But yeah, I think he's going to be a hell of an athlete, a hell of a player. Especially like coming from Rutgers in that program and being able to do what he did with not a lot of help was impressive, to say the least. Him and Dylan Harper, obviously. Next is Trey Johnson. Now, this is another guy where if you like the tape, invest, but I don't love the tape. Now, Trey Johnson, to me, I could see him ending up as this sucks to say, right? There's 2 lanes we get from Trey Johnson, right? We either get him going down the Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell route, or I could see him kind of ending up like a Deion Waiters. Now, he's a 6'5" guard, not a lot of defense, not a lot of playmaking. And although Booker and Mitchell kind of developed those a little bit more in the NBA, Trey Johnson, to me, just doesn't seem as, like, polished as those guys, you know. And I know a lot of people love him, and the shooting percentages are so impressive for Trey Johnson out of college. But Trey Johnson just never takes good shots. He makes a lot of tough shots, but can you do that against an NBA defender? I personally don't think so. He's kind of small. If his shot isn't falling, then his defense isn't going to keep him on the court. Washington has a logjam at guards with CJ McCollum and Marcus Smart. And if you draft a guy like Trey Johnson, you should be starting him. But I don't know if situationally they're going to do that. Now, I think McCollum and Smart might do wonders for Trey Johnson's development. But I don't know. If I had to predict, I lean more towards him being Deion Waiters than I do Donovan Mitchell. Let's talk about the number 7 pick, one of my favorite players in the draft, Jeremiah Fears. But before we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Boom Fantasy. Baseball's in full swing this summer, and if you're someone who knows ball, you need to check out Boom Fantasy. You could cash out if you predict things like hits, strikeouts, and RBIs. Boom's the only platform you could cash out 500 times your money on just a 2-leg parlay. If baseball isn't your thing, the WNBA is also in full swing this season, and there's a lot of superstars making their names for themselves. I've been loving cashing out on Angel Reese overs because everyone's just hating on her. If you never heard of this platform before, or if you don't know betting's for you, use code RTP for a risk-free bet up to $100. That's code RTP, and it's the best way to support this show. Let's get back to the video. Now, Jeremiah Fears ended up in a very unique situation in New Orleans, right? He's going to be backing up DeJounte Murray, and they traded him. So it's probably going to be DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones as their starters. Herb Jones. I don't know why I said Herb, but Herb Jones will probably be like their 3 starters, right, at the wings. So Jeremiah Fears probably is not going to get starting tick. But I do think that they built a bench unit with another guy we're going to talk about a little later, Derek Queen. Jeremiah Fears is my number 2 prospect in this draft. I just think if you look at his tape, bro, the creativity, the scoring ability, the jump shot looks great. Like, this guy could be a monster scoring guard in the NBA, and he's only 18, right? So should be like getting ready for his first college season, but he ended up advancing a year in high school. So he is a young player with some of the most polished scoring I've seen from a guard. Bro, I can't tell you when. Like, I think he's the most creative scorer in the class. He's the fastest player in this class. Jeremiah Fears is going to be an animal. And New Orleans, I think, did a great job in this draft. Now, they got a lot of crap for trading up. And, again, we'll talk about that a little later. But I think they just did an amazing job in this draft. Yegor Demon. Okay. I'm going to preface this by saying that Yegor is my 26th ranked prospect, right? And he jumps to number 8. He is a 6'9 6'9 playmaking guard. Can't really shoot, can't really score the ball really at all. But if Brooklyn is going to draft him at 8, they're going to invest a lot in him, and they're going to do a lot to make him look good. And hopefully he could prove that he is, like, really this. There's the Josh Giddey comparisons. I see that as a passer, but I think Josh Giddey's finishing is a little bit better than Yegor's. It's rebounding Josh Giddey, but Yegor is just a very tall playmaker. Everyone's saying he's going to end up being a wing in the NBA. I think he's got to play point guard, man. But I just don't see, like, the Ben Simmons hype when Ben Simmons was drafted was also the defense. Like, Yegor doesn't have that. So he's just kind of a cone. He's kind of skinny. He's just a tall playmaker. Again, though, right? If you watch the tape and you like the tape and you enjoy the player, I would invest in him because Brooklyn needs him to be successful. They drafted him so high, they need him to be successful. You don't want to look like the jackass organization, So if you draft a guy like this at number 8, you're hoping for the best. Again, don't love him. I wouldn't invest my money into him, but if you like him, I would advise you put some money on him. Number 9, Colin Murray-Boyles. I'm going to tell you guys, don't invest in this guy. Colin Murray-Boyles is a defender. He's versatile. He's like a lot of these Toronto Raptors guys we see. But I don't think his ceiling's there. And I think in Toronto, being a 6'7 forward who can't really shoot, straight defense, like, where is his tick going to come from? Who are you playing? You can't play him next to Scotty Barnes and expect good offense to come on the floor. Jakob Poeltl, all their centers can't really shoot. Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, like, they got guys that can, even Brandon Ingram, right? Like, they can't shoot off the catch. So the space is going to be awful in Toronto. I don't love what this team is doing. Now, last offseason, everyone gassed them up and was like, oh, they locked down their guys. They're going to be good. But who are their guys? Emmanuel Quickly? RJ Barrett? And I'm an RJ Barrett fan. I'm a Brandon Ingram fan. I'm a Scotty Barnes fan. But is that core really enough to win you a championship? I don't think so. I think they're a guy away, and I think Colin Murray-Boyles isn't that guy. I think they should have probably went with a more creative scorer here, or even a center, or traded out this pick. Maybe they want to play him at center because we can see that from Colin Murray-Boyles. But at 6'7", that's going to be tough in the NBA. I would not invest in CMB. Number 10, Common Maluach. Now, this is going to Phoenix, and I don't know what to do with this pick. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't a fan of Common, right? Coming out of college. I just thought he was a really good big. He went to Duke, so I thought that's why everyone has him in this, like, number 7 overall ranked, number 1 center. I didn't see that. And they traded for a center. Phoenix trades for Mark Williams. Now they're looking to move Nick Richards. So you drafted the number 7 ranked player, the number 1 center, for him to come off the bench because there's a lot of hype about him eventually being able to shoot, but I just don't see that yet. I don't see the jump shot in him coming. It's definitely not there now, so you definitely can't play him with Mark Williams now. So you drafted this guy to come off the bench. I don't know what Phoenix is doing at all. There was a lot of good players on the board. And if you're going to draft a big man in this position, they should have went with Derek Queen because Maluach is so similar to Mark Williams. So it's like, what are you gaining from taking him? You're drafting a player and trading for a player that are the same fucking player. So it's weird. It's a weird situation. If you love the prospect, I still wouldn't invest just because situationally Phoenix seems to be spiraling out of control. So if you're going to invest in him, I would wait for rumors to start coming around that he's going to get moved because I don't think he's going to have a successful career in Phoenix. At number 11, we had Cedric Coward. Now, this is another guy, right, where he's going to Memphis. He's a big wing that could shoot. Like, that's what I see in him, right? He's supposed to be the Desmond Bane replacement. He can't really handle the ball like Bane, but he's going to be able to knock down shots. I will say Memphis invested a lot by trading up, though. So they need him to be successful. Memphis also does not have a lot of wings. They don't have Desmond Bane anymore. The Dylan Brooks era is so far gone. Right now, I think ESPN's depth chart has them starting Santi Aldama, who I think is also a free agent. So Cedric Howard's probably going to be the starting small forward on this team. He's going to be situationally in the right spot. Now, I just don't think his play style will develop into something that you could invest in as a card owner. But I do think Cedric Howard is going to have a good NBA career, a long NBA career, because of his ability to knock down shots and play defense. Simple 3-and-D guy that they invested in at 11. If he could develop the other stuff, he has a nice frame to be like a star player. But it's not really there, you know. At number 12, we have Noah Asenge. Now, I know I've knocked a lot of the projects in this class, but if I'm going to invest in any project, I think it's Noah Asenge. I think my problem with the Bulls is they haven't had direction, right? With the DeRozan and Levine era, now they don't really have direction on. They got to pick between Josh Giddey and Kobe White, and it seemed like on draft day they were trying to shop Kobe White, so that tells me they're going to roll with Josh Giddey. Lonzo Ball is going to be out of there now, so it's going to look something like Ayo, Giddey, Mataz, Buzelis, Noah Asenge, and then whoever they figure out to be their 5. Asenge even could end up being their, like, not small ball 5, but he's a power forward 5. Like, imagine Giannis at the 5, right? This is a knockoff version of Giannis, and I would invest in Noah Asenge because I think the opportunity in Chicago is there to build around him. I think Mataz Buzelis is going to be a guy that everyone's watching, so Noah Asenge is going to be a guy everyone's watching. You know, I look at, like, Jalen Williams' stock because of SGA. Chet's stock because of SGA. Like, Noah Asenge could have that rub off from Mataz. And I think Noah Asenge, as far as prospects go, I like Noah Asenge more than I liked Mataz last year. I just think his frame and his build, like, if you look at this guy up, he has that Giannis build. Now, there's a lot of, holes in his game, but he's the second youngest player in the draft. So, what can you do? You know, I think that this is a guy that I would invest in. I would take the fly on. His cards will probably be cheap because you're just thinking Chicago missed out on another draft pick. Nah. Noah Asenge. Go. Bye. Derek Queen is a guy that I love. He's going to be a Pelican, not a Hawk. Derek Queen was a guy that I was super high on coming into the draft. I kind of dropped in the recent days before the draft just because his height came back at 6'9". I don't look at him as an NBA power forward, so I think that's the problem where positionally, he's going to have a hard time figuring it out in the NBA, but his ability to pass, finish, he's the best offensive big in this class by a mile, you know. Maybe him and Hansen Yang. But I just think that is huge. He's also a great rebounder. He's going to be a good 5 next to Zion Williamson. I don't know if he's going to start there, but I think the Zion's ability to help is going to really shine when Derek Queen's on the court. If he could get 2 inches on him, I'm putting everything I own on him, but I just don't see the upside of him as a power forward. I don't think his foot speed's there to be a power forward. His height obviously isn't there to be a center. His weight, he's a heavy guy, and he played center in college, and they went on a little run, but I just don't think it's enough, honestly, for me to like fully buy in on him. But again, I do want to say, as far as talent and skills go, Derek Queen is one of the best players in this draft class. He is a fucking monster. The last pick we're going to be talking about is Carter Bryant to the Spurs. This is a guy that's going to be playing next to Victor Wembanyama, so eyes are going to be on him. He's also 18. He's lengthy, could shoot, play defense. If he could develop that scoring ability, then maybe we're in a buy now place. Now, in our mock video, I said don't buy on him. I didn't really love him, but I think in San Antonio now, there's opportunity for him to grow his game for sure, especially being such a young guy. He's a hustler, scrapper, energy, spark plug. Carter Bryant's going to be the guy. I like him as a prospect a lot. I think him being 18 and that kind of like build gives a lot of upside for him. I cannot believe he fell to 14 and San Antonio hit the lottery on this one. But comment down below who you guys would buy, sell on. Let me know where I'm tripping, where I'm right, where I'm wrong. Make sure you guys join the Discord in the description. Now, we're doing trivia. We're about to finish trivia this month, and then we're probably going to start it off next month. Whoever has the most points at the end of the trivia is going to win a $25 Amazon gift card. So that's your opportunity to win a free gift card. If you know ball, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. But most importantly, run the play, baby. Boom!